think we can do better. Come on, let's do it, let's do it. Oh, okay, well, I hope we're having fun at convention so far. I know I have had entirely too much fun. But as I think about my time here in Iowa, I think about some of the things that I've learned. One, golden corn is pretty cool. I got my own piece. Yeah, I hear you. Also, y'all take card games way too seriously. Like, what's the deal with that? Y'all play this game called euchre, but also nerds, and I'm more of an Uno girl particularly, so I don't really know much about that. But the other night, I was hanging out with the state officers, and they were really getting into these games. So I thought, perfect, I'll dive straight in. Sit down at the table. Little did I know that not only is George very competitive, but Kate is like stealthy. She's good at these games, so she can just sit back and know she's gonna win, which is terrifying. So here I am, sitting at this table, playing these card games, doing my best to keep up with all the weird rules of nerds. But nonetheless, I play the game, lose terribly by like -90 something. Ugh, yeah, I know, pretty bad. Yeah, well, as we were sitting there, I had a good time. I might have been losing terribly, but I sat there wondering, I'm having fun with these people. Why don't I always feel like this? Why don't I always feel that joy and that thankfulness for just spending time playing card games with some good friends? Why don't we always feel that way? We have plenty of simple moments in our lives that we should be grateful for all the time. But a lot of times, we take them for granted. Why? Back in 2020, I had the opportunity to serve as one of the North Carolina FFA state officers. Yeah, I'm old. Let's just move past that. But during that year, I had the opportunity to meet two of what I refer to as big-time leaders, Mr. Ray Starling and Mr. Nelson Powell. They would serve as my mentors during my time as a state officer. And whenever I tell y'all I was excited, I was like jumping at the seams, ready to meet them. So whenever I found out that I was gonna have a lunch with them within the next week, I instantly pulled out my journal and started crafting all the questions that I would ask them. I mean, everything from, am I going to the right school, to like, how do I do this whole state officer thing? But the day finally arrived. I drove in my Chevy Equinox to go to the restaurant, pulled up, grabbed my journal, and strutted into that building like, I am ready, here we go. Walk in, sit down at the table, and after some brief introductions and the ordering of some particularly yummy food, I jump on the first opportunity to pique their minds about this question that had been burning in my mind. It was a simple question, but their response shocked me. My question: what is one piece of advice that you would give a beginning leader? As soon as the question left my mind, my mind is racing. They're gonna tell me I need to go to Harvard, yeah? Or maybe they're gonna tell me, girl, you gotta make a lot of money, that's the key. Or even just perfect grades. But all of those thoughts were interrupted by a simple and shocking response. Mr. Powell goes, well, Miss MacKenna, never underestimate the value of a simple thank you. You have got to be kidding me. I don't need to go to Harvard. I don't need to make the most money. I don't need to have the perfect grades, but you want me to look at someone and be like, hey, thanks, you're great. But I knew something was probably important in there, so I took my pen, wrote it down in my journal, and moved along. At the end of that lunch, got back into my car, driving home, hands at 10 and 2 like always, right? Driving home, I thought about this. Never underestimate the value of a simple thank you. A simple thank you. And I realized, they're right. Think about a time in your life that someone genuinely thanked you for something that you did, something that you placed hours and hours of effort into, and think about how it made you feel when they expressed their gratitude for it. On the flip side, think about something that someone has done for you, a time in your life that you knew someone had made a difference, and you wanted to say thank you. What does that look like in your life? What are some things that you're thankful for? I know for me, one of my all-time things that I am super grateful for is soccer. I mean, in high school, there was nothing more thrilling to me than pulling on a jersey and stepping out with the Lady Falcons. I mean, there was nothing more thrilling. You just pull on that jersey and you're unstoppable. Anybody else an athlete in here? I see. Oh, okay, I said athletes. How about sports fans? Do we at least watch it? Okay, I see a few of you. All right, well, whether you're an athlete or a sports fan and you just watch it, everyone can probably understand. An athlete always has a game that frustrates them, that doesn't go the way that they intended and just throws them off their entire game. For me, it's junior year. I had just come back after a nasty concussion that left me off the field for at least 2 weeks. So, naturally, the time comes for me to strut back onto the field, and I know, it's comeback season, population MacKenna. I mean, come on. It's just natural. So, I do what any athlete would do. I kneel down, lace up my cleats, and I'm ready to go. I'm strutting out onto the field. I look around at my teammates, and it's go time. The whistle blows, and we're off. Chloe has quickly found her stride and is going around the entire other team. Haley is crushing it on defense, and our team is unstoppable. So the time comes. The ball's at my feet. I'm running as fast as possible towards my one goal. The goal, duh. I'm looking at this goal, the ball's at my feet, I'm running, and here's time. Ready? Just a little bit off, to the right, that's okay. In soccer, you're bound to miss a goal or two. Let's just shrug it off. Let's try again. Layla gets the ball, she's running down the field, it's at my feet, and who kicked that ball? That wasn't me, no big deal. All right, I know you're probably thinking, MacKenna, so you missed 2 goals. What's the big deal? This is really awkward. I missed 6 or 7 goals that game, like back to back to back. And you can imagine my dismay whenever the crowd kept going, ooh. Yeah, but it's okay. I eventually heard the sweet sound of the ball hitting the back of the net in a swoosh. Yeah, that ball didn't come from my feet. It came from Layla's foot because she actually knows how to get the ball to the back of the net. But I look up at the clock. I'm like, I should have enough time. But it says 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, no, 2, 1. My time is up. The whistle blows and I've realized I have wasted my one opportunity to prove that I was back and ready to crush the game. So instead of strutting out on that field like I had done at the beginning of the game, I walked off like this. I was angry. My team was celebrating because what I didn't tell you was that one goal that Layla scored beat the other team. The score was now 1-0, and the Lady Falcons had reigned victorious over the opposing team. I walked off angry. Everyone was celebrating and cheering, and I told them I had nothing to be grateful for, that was the worst game I had ever played in my entire life. And I sat there, bitter, and I let that bitterness carry over into the next day, where at practice, my lovely coach, Coach Poya, or Pug Money in my words, pulled me aside and said, hey, we need to talk about that game. And I said, Coach, no big deal. I got it handled. And he said, what do you have handled? Like better ball control. I'm actually gonna aim this time. And he cut me off. I was talking about your attitude. Ouch. You see, I had realized me being ungrateful and focusing too much on the goal instead of being grateful for the people that I was playing alongside that helped me get there that day, the field that I was playing on, or even the miracle that I was back on the field in the first place after that concussion. I took that for granted, and I realized gratitude is hard. But even when gratitude's hard, it's important. So I decided I would learn from Pug Money and I would do better next time. But it took someone to teach me a lesson, to learn that gratitude was, yes, still important, even when it was hard. Who are those people in your life? Seriously, take 15 seconds right now, close your eyes, think, who helped you get here today? As we open our eyes, if we had one person pop into our brains, I can promise you that you have something to be grateful for. Maybe it was a parent, a friend, a sibling, or an advisor. In fact, let's give a round of applause for all the amazing advisors in the state of Iowa. Yeah. Oh, well, advisors teach us a lot over the years, and I know mine were no exception to that rule. I mean, whether it was Mr. Chester teaching me that hard work is everything and it's time for domination, or Mr. Silliman telling me that everyone deserves a little bit of grace. Even Mr. Owen, who decided that love and caring for other people is his #1 priority, showed me that caring for others should be #1. But Miss Cardia taught me a lesson that I wouldn't learn until years later. You see, this past summer, I worked in Washington, D.C. I had a big girl job. I was walking around our nation's capital, and I was having a good time. You know, like the pantsuits, the big purse. I was on top of the world. I ran into legislators, senators, representatives. It was incredible. But it was just an internship. But I took it to the next level. You know, I was ready for this. And during my time there, I was so grateful. I mean, Harrison, my boss, he had sat in on entirely too many lunches telling me about how the whole policy world works. Kate, Cassie, and Caleb made me feel right at home in the office and knew that I was valued. And Andrew gave me way too many projects to make sure that my time there was worthwhile. So at the end of my time there, I'm sitting at my big girl desk, trying to reminisce on all the wonderful times that I've had in that office. And I knew I wanted to express my gratitude for everyone in the office, but, you know, I didn't know how. Like, would they want a cookie, a candle, a blanket? I don't really know what I'm supposed to do here. So I thought, let's float back to one of those lessons that my advisor taught me. Miss Tori Cardia, every single year in high school, writes a thank you note to her students, expressing her gratitude for the opportunity to be their teacher. Yeah, a teacher writing a thank you note to the students. I still remember the letter that Miss Cardia wrote me, and one line stands true. I hope that you always find the beauty that is in every day. Miss Cardia's letter reflected something that she cared about me, that she saw me and valued me. And I knew her letter made me feel the same way that I wanted to make the people within my office feel. So that night I went home and wrote 30 different thank you letters to all of the people in that office. But I know thank you notes might not be every person's thing, right? Maybe for some of you, it's texting someone, calling them, seeing them in person. But whatever that is, today I'm going to encourage you and even challenge you. Find how you're going to express gratitude. Find what you're thankful for and see how you can express gratitude. Because Iowa FFA, we can all experience the gift of gratitude.
MacKenna, on behalf of the Iowa FFA Association and its over 19,000 members, we'd like to thank you for those inspiring words and reminding us of the gift of gratitude. Please accept this conference gift as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.